What's going on, boxing fans? It's Julian Williams with The Distance. I'm here to answer my first question for my first mailbag, actually. I have one question today, but I encourage people to send me questions, so I can answer my video if you like, so I can do another mailbag. But I think that this question, a subscriber of mine asked me to kind of dedicate a whole video to it, so I'm just gonna do a whole video for it. But anyway, this video is on my thoughts about Prince Naseem, his career in general. My thoughts on Prince Naseem, as you all know, Prince Naseem, every hardcore boxing fan has to know Prince Naseem Hamed is. He had a very flashy, showy, eccentric and flamboyant type, fight. He had all that was into you could tell by his entrances, with somersault over the ropes, dance to the ring, this, that, and the other. Just performed a lot of antics and tricks and stuff. Got into the head of a lot of his opponents. He had a very awkward style, very unorthodox with good punching power. He won the WBO featherweight title when he defeated Steve Robinson, won and unified, and won the IBF against Tom Johnson. I believe he knocked him out in like the 8th round, and so forth and so on. Had some quality victories, to be honest. He had, along with those victories, he defeated Kevin Kelly, who's a very, very respectable contender, and defeated Wayne McCullough. So, those are a couple pretty good victories. Very respectable fighters, but at the same time, with Prince Naseem's style, I don't think that it translated to defeat, a real elite boxer. People actually put Prince Naseem on this elite status that he wasn't on because he didn't really face any elite fighters. That's just my personal opinion. Because featherweight then wasn't as deep and talent rich as it is now. So I think that I thought that with Prince Naseem's style, it was hard for him to translate into that next level, this next elite level. A lot of people were putting him on. He was, at the same time, he could have moved up and got more money, against, a Joel Casamayor or even a Floyd Mayweather who called him out. He had these guys, and even Diego Corrales. He could have moved up and made a lot of money, but he stayed at 126 because I know that his promoters, knew that more than likely he couldn't be, an elite boxer, a boxer on the elite level. But at the same time, personally, I think that Prince Naseem was good for the sport of boxing, because he provided entertainment. He provided entertainment, and his events, his events weren't only, events. His events were huge. His events brought a lot of boxing fans together, and and worldwide people were willing to watch this man fight. I think even HBO is airing his fights. He's based out in Britain, and HBO, pretty much airs a lot of American fights, but they do tend from time to time to air, a lot of fights based out in Europe, and they aired Prince Naseem fights. But anyway, a lot of people are gonna remember Prince Naseem Hamed because of that loss to Marco Antonio Barrera. A lot of people weren't expecting it to happen. A lot of boxing analysts and boxing experts were expecting them to just completely outbox Marco Antonio Barrera. They thought, they actually thought he was at the end of his career, because I believe he just came out of a war with Eric Morales, and now he's fighting Prince Naseem, and Prince Naseem's supposed to be on this other level, that he really wasn't on, and he was just able to actually, outclass him. He was landing shots at will, and he was landing, and it was funny to me because he was just landing all these wild shots, these wide shots as well, and they were just landing on the neck, and Prince Naseem just couldn't adapt to it. He couldn't adjust to it or anything. He was just getting beat, manhandled, and everything. But overall, Prince Naseem, I think he did fight one more fight, and after he fought that one fight, he retired. He does have like a video on YouTube saying he was going to come back, never came back. But Prince Naseem, I think was good for boxing. Because there wasn't really much attention, on any division below like 130, 135. So I think that Prince Naseem shifted some attention to 126, which was lower and stuff like that. So I think that Prince Naseem, definitely isn't greatest of all time level, but he's not overrated because he was a good fighter. I can't call Prince Naseem Hamed overrated, but I can't call him a great fighter either. He's a good fighter, just to say, just to be in between about it. So anyway, Prince Naseem, that's my thoughts on Prince Naseem. Good fighter, but he couldn't fight, he couldn't fight at a certain level. He couldn't break himself down and adjust his style. That was just the style he fought in. Very unorthodox and very awkward. And I think the awkwardness was what gave trouble to his opponents, because just about all of his opponents probably never faced a fight that was so awkward and very unorthodox. So anyway, that's my thoughts. So anyway, feel free to send me anybody. Feel free to send me a mailbag question, and I will answer it on video. Thanks for watching. That was Distance. Peace.